Hello.
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 Hey, welcome to our second ever Mentoring Matters. We are the staff of All Things Made New. If everyone wants to go around and introduce themselves, I am Kayla, the development director. Devin?
I'm Devin Rodriguez, the program coordinator.
Aisha?
Aisha, the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator.
And Michelle Flores, the director.
Awesome. If you don't know who All Things Made New is yet, welcome to our page. You are on our Facebook page right now. We are an online mentoring program for teens, but we are also so much more. We serve about 85, 12 to, what do you want to say, like 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds with our alumni group. And we serve them in all sorts of capacities, including emotional support, case management, one-on-one mentoring, support and resources for teen moms or moms to be. We kind of run the gamut. Anything and everything we can do to pour love into these kids' lives, that's our goal. So in order to sort of talk a little bit more or get the conversation around the importance of mentoring and what mentoring really looks like and what modern mentoring looks like right now, we've decided to do this series called Mentoring Matters. Last week we did mentoring myths. If you have a question about mentoring myths, please put them in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them here again. If you want to watch that video, it is on our Facebook page. But today we are going to be focusing on what mentoring looks like for teens right now. So the issues and problems they're facing. We called it mentoring trends or trends in mentoring. And I think Devin at first is going to talk a little bit about why maybe that isn't exactly the best title to have called this. Do you want to take it away?
Sure. So we thought that, that title was amazing and wonderful. So we definitely polled our students, our youth participants, to see what mattered to them and what was trending. So I'm, excited talking to them and like, what's going on? What's trending? And like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, like what's trending? What's going on? How are you feeling? Like, what are your, like, what's trending? Like, what's the problems? Like, what's going on? What are your concerns? And quickly was corrected by our youth participants and said, trending, Miss, you're using the wrong word. Like trending is like, are you into hacks right now and things that are cool? Like you're asking us like, what's our problems and what our concerns are. So like, you need the right words. So I was like, okay, that's right, you're right. So this was just an awesome opportunity just to like check ourselves to make sure that we're relatable and that we are using the right words and try not to be over cool. Just hearing them, because at the end of the day, whatever word I use doesn't really matter. We're just doing what we're doing for them. So, but that was interesting. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate you. I'm going to take note of that. And we're going to talk about that. It's not trending. It's what's problems or what concerns. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting and fun at the same time.
Yeah, we all learned collectively at the staff meeting today that wasn't the correct word to use. So yeah, so today we're actually going to be talking about common issues and problems that we're seeing when we talk to the youth participants weekly. We meet up with these amazing youth every single week, and they are brave enough to open up about what's on their minds and to kind of hash it out. And we wanted to let you guys have a little bit of insight of what we're hearing from people this age right now. So one of the first ones that we're hearing a lot about, and feel free anyone just to pick it up and talk about what you are hearing, is bullying, actually.
Yeah, bullying is huge. And I think that it comes in so many different arenas and different areas, whether it be online or in person. Now that everyone's at home, our kids are so connected on technology and through social media and through video games, because video games have that social connection chat piece too. That if you don't do something, then you're automatically ostracized and looked bad upon. But if you get involved in a conversation or you do something, then you're labeled as bad because you followed the crowd. And so they feel so torn. They're dealing with so many different pressures of how do they fit in, what is right, what do they do, how do they connect, and how do they continue to be true to themselves without sabotaging their reputation, because that's tough. So I think that for sure right now, in this season, it's a lot of online bullying that they're facing, girls and boys. It's not just girls, it's not just boys. And I really think that it stems from their own personal insecurity. It stems from their own personal sense of wanting to be popular, wanting to kind of be the lead, that alpha. But that's kind of what I've seen personally with these kids. If y'all want to have any other chime ins.
I think you did a great job, though.
I think, and it's something that maybe our generation, I'm not going to say what generation that is, but our generation doesn't quite get.
We're young.
That we're seeing bullying even in this time of more self-isolation. Like there's like an uptick, right? We're seeing more almost bullying in this time of isolation. Would you say that was correct?
I think there's a lot more time on their hands, and so they're looking for something to do. And they don't think that it's bullying. I think they think that it's just entertainment or hanging out with their friends, or, kind of chumming up things together, personally. But yeah, definitely every generation, I think, is facing a certain amounts of bullying with everything going on.
Okay.
I think one of the things that gets brought up a lot is TikTok.
Oh Lord, that TikTok. Y'all can speak to that.
I'm so new to the whole, I'm out of touch. And that's something I think will just be important for parents too. As I'm like talking about myself being so disconnected and out of touch with just social media, I think it's an important thing for parents to just kind of be aware of what their kiddos are kind of spending their time, how they're utilizing their time. And TikTok seems to be a really popular one. And I think that's the one where you do all the fun dances and the challenges.
There's everything.
We'll see. You have it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, totally, because, obviously we don't want to be totally against anything. Just that, in moderation or with good monitoring, for sure. But that is something I definitely think that as parents, and we should definitely pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you mentioned, like you guys have all mentioned, the amount of time that they have on their hands, and then the social distancing, they're bored, and it's easy for them to go to a separate space and just spend all day on different websites and different apps. And they are being quite creative, but there's a lot of opportunity for inappropriate stuff on there as well. So I would highly recommend that any app, any chatting, any of that stuff, like just be monitored, because it's the world, it's open. So there's all types of people on these,
Right.
and groups.
Keep a pulse.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And I think it is exactly what you said. Anything has good in it, but it's bad when it's in the wrong hands. And so I think that those relationships that parents and mentors have with kids, just to give them the platform to say, hey, I saw this, like, what do I do? Or how do I handle this? But if we never facilitate the opportunity for them to even have that conversation, then they try to figure it out the best that they can. And so sometimes they'll put themselves in situations unknowingly that kind of corner them, and then they feel stuck. But I think the more we can give them the opportunity to be approachable and available in those conversations, whatever it is, whether it's TikTok, social media, bullying, whatever, the more we just let them know that we are available, and we're not here to judge them. We're here to walk alongside of them, because not one of us is, perfect or mistake free. I make mistakes every day, all day. But I think just being transparent and open and creating that conversation.
That's why I love our topic for this month in our small group as being like journey, figure out who you are. That's been something that's been amazing, not just for the mentees, youth participants necessarily. It's also really, we talked about this last time, but things that we do are really good even for the adults and the volunteers and interns and so forth, because you never stop, trying to become the better you.
Right.
So I really think that's why, journey, figuring out who you are, figuring out what you stand for is so crucial for our youth participants, because once you know what you stand for and who you are, whatever that is, then you'll be able to step away. And like you said, Michelle, like, you know, is this who I am? Is this who I want to be? Just because they're doing this or listening to this or dancing like this, I don't necessarily have to do that because I stand for this. This is who I am. Not who I am as Devin, but who you are, you know? So I think that's really important. And that's why I love having Journey as our topic this month, because it's crucial for all of us.
Absolutely. And it allows them just the space for them to, what you said, figure out where they are, and also kind of take a step back and reflect to see who's around them. And is that encouraging them on the journey that they're in, where they want to go? Because those influences, that circle has a huge defining factor in that. And so I love the activities and yes, everything about that, because it definitely has that just time to reflect.
That's right.
For those of you watching, we create curriculum around our mentoring. So it's very intentional conversations. We make sure they're coming in to our mentoring and small group mentoring programs, ready to talk about things that like get to the heart of what it means to be human and to grow up and to have goals and to create a really good life for yourself. And I love our topic for this month as Journey, because I know it hits really hard for me too. As an adult, I think it's brilliant. Again, if you guys have any questions who are watching, all of the people watching, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. If you have any comments, put them in the comment section. We will remark on them, participate.
That's okay.
My bad, y'all.
We are very much still human in this video.
And all.
So I think one of the other things that was brought up as one of the major common threads amongst a lot of the issues that our teens are facing is loneliness and isolation.
Absolutely.
On that.
One of the students, they had mentioned, well, you know, school, that's something that's, you know, a concern for us. I'm like, okay, what about school specifically? And they said, well, you know, if we go to school, yeah, we'll have a mask on and we'll be like all distant and be apart and not really have as many activities. And, you know, that sounds like we're just going to be lonely. And then if we stay home, I mean, yeah, we don't have the masks, but we're lonely there too. So pretty much it just sounds like a whole bunch of loneliness happening for us.
Yeah. It's been such a huge adjustment. I mean, when I think about some of the things that the kiddos were sharing, you know, this whole COVID situation is impacting parents' lifestyle too. And so everyone's trying to do the best that they can to kind of be attentive and combat, you know, togetherness, even though at the same time, you know, parents have to go to work. And now it's kind of increased in some households to make ends meet. So I think just the topic of loneliness and creative ways to try to stay connected with one another. I think that's what we've been trying to address within our groups too, and just kind of rally support around that, because it is something that continues to come up.
Mm-hmm. And I think that because I think for myself, our time is filled. We're busy as moms, as wives, as adults. We're busy, even though we can still feel lonely. But to us, our days get full so fast. To them, a day feels like a year, you know. And so when we're talking that they've been, a lot of them that have been isolated since March to July is like an eternity, and they feel hopeless in the process. And so it's like what you're saying, Devin, about school going back and what are we going to do? And so it's almost like they've lost hope in something of any kind of normalcy, any kind of interaction, because we all thrive in community. We all thrive, well, not all of us, but I thrive in giving people hugs. Like I'm such a hugger. Like I can't not be in a room with someone and just embrace them with a hug. And so their love tanks are low. And so not all of them, but a lot of them are. And so I think that that's just such a huge piece of it. And we don't have the solution for that, but it's definitely something that we are continuing to be intentional about, letting them know that we are here, doing the birthday card club, having happy mail that we send out, doing the activity packs where we can try to give them things that are productive to allow them to be creative and spend their time doing something that they enjoy and that can kind of be a stress reliever in this process, because it is such an uphill battle. And, you know, when we look at the news, it's still morbid and it's still so daunting about all this, you know, the cases going up. And how can we remain hopeful for them in this situation? And it's tough. It's tough.
That hope is going to be crucial because it just doesn't, you know, from a kid's perspective, it doesn't seem like there is a solution, you know. So the hugs and that love tank and that hope is going to be crucial. Even if you don't think that they really need it, they do. Even if they don't express it, you know, all the kids that I talked to, only one of them spoke up to talk about that. But they all were in agreement that that is how they're feeling.
Sure. And even some of our kids who, since we've been online, haven't necessarily gotten into our small groups online, but we still do the outreach to them. When we sent them Happy Mail, just letting them know we are thinking of you and we love you, they had it posted on their Instagram stories. They're like, oh my gosh, I love ATMN. This is my family. And so even though we don't hear it out of their mouth, we don't see them every day, those little intentional pieces of mail, a phone call, a text, like that can mean the world to someone. And so it's so easy to do, but it's easy to not do. And so we have to be super proactive in our approach of reaching kids, and just reminding them that they have so much importance and value because they feel like they're invisible right now.
I am enough. That's what their charge was for this week, to say, I am enough to yourself. And I've been saying it too. I am enough.
Absolutely.
I'll take this quick moment to plug our birthday card club.
Yeah, birthday. I wish I had some streamers.
Happy birthday behind her. I love it.
Yes, yes. Get it, girl.
We have had a lot of outpouring and love and support from the community ever since COVID hit and we went to online mentoring, but we don't have enough mentoring slots for everyone just yet. So we created a new volunteer program so you can help bring love into the lives of these youth participants without being a mentor. And what it means is we will send you the names of the birthday celebrants for every month. The first names, what age they're turning. We've got some sweet 16s coming up in August.
So
I know. Think about celebrating your sweet 16 during COVID.
I know.
Woohoo!
It'll still be beautiful. Yeah, woohoo is right.
And the volunteers, as a volunteer, you create birthday cards for them and tell them to have a happy birthday and know that they're being thought of and know that they're important. And that's all it is. So if you are interested in being part of the birthday card club, go onto our website. Volunteer opportunities is there. But yeah, it's the little things like that that make people feel seen, in which it's really easy to feel like you are forgotten.
Right. And the handmade cards are my favorite. The ones that are, you know, it's not about spending money on cards. It's about the heart in it. And so those are my favorite. Yeah.
We got to show those next time. They're beautiful.
Oh my gosh, they're incredible.
Yeah.
I know. I gotta up my crafting.
Yeah. I had an ounce of artistic ability in that way. I try my best. I do my best. I need Lisa back so she can teach me all the artistic stuff.
Lisa.
I think I'm gonna move on to the next one, the last one that we've got going. Okay. So the last big one, and I feel like this is a really, really important one because this is one that parents or people in general have a harder time seeing, but it's the way we communicate with the teens. What language you're using, are you making them feel empowered and seen? Are you sitting with them where they are? Because I think a lot of our youth participants aren't feeling that. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people, I think in a busy society, in a stressful world, we talk at people, we don't talk to them or with them. And so it's really quick to go on to the next thing. And it's something that we all, I think as adults, have to slow down a little bit. And just listen. I think listening is our biggest friend and advocate in this, because the more we listen and the less we talk, then the more we give them a voice,
Sure.
and validate their feelings, even if we don't understand them, even if we can't put ourselves in their shoes, but letting them know that we're not shutting them down. Oh, it'll get better. Just hold on. But really sitting and listening, and it takes time, and it isn't always easy to make time for that. But I think that is a huge piece in this.
And what you're saying, it kind of also reminds me of what Devin mentioned a little bit earlier. They may not be coming to you, so go to them and check in with them, just casually, like, oh, stop in their room. Hey, what's going on? Because what I've noticed some of the kiddos have been sharing in group is they've been spending, of course, a lot of more time in their room and just kind of, like we've been talking about, kind of isolated and disconnected from some of the families periodically. So just kind of making a point to check in with them, whether they're saying they want to be checked in with or not. It just helps kind of keep that line of communication open.
Absolutely. And I do that with I'm by far not the perfect parent, by far. But I go and do that with our 17-year-old, and I'll be like, hey, and I'll just go sit on her bed and I'm just waiting. And she's like,
hang out.
I'm just waiting for you. Like, what's going on? And she's like, nothing. I'm like, no, there's something, like, but just being available and not being nosy to the point where you're just like obnoxious about it. But, it might take it might not be the first time you just go and sit in there. It might take 3 or 4 times for them to see, why are you doing this? What are you trying to get? Do you know something I don't know? But just being available.
Yeah.
That's really important. One of the youth, did you guys talk about that? I'm sorry. One of the youth participants had just mentioned that she felt like that if they're going through, as a teen, if I'm going through something, that how it's not cool, and we don't appreciate it as teens. If we say that, we're not feeling good, or like we're feeling down on ourselves, that a parent say, or a person say, oh, well, you should feel good about yourself, and you should know how amazing you are, and you should feel like you're enough, and you should. And so she basically expressed that it's not to say that, like, sometimes you just need to chill. And so my initial thing was like, well, they would ask you because they care about you. Like, nobody's just gonna chill. If they care about you, they want to make sure you're okay. And she's like, well, no, I want them to make sure I'm okay, but like sometimes it like it makes me feel like I'm crazy for feeling some type of way, or that I shouldn't feel that way. And then it makes me like have to defend how I feel, which then makes me more upset and more bothered. And it doesn't help me. Like, I want them to care about me and to express they care about me, but not by making me feel like inadequate for having these feelings. It's almost validating them,
Absolutely.
So I feel like, just being there, like you said, Michelle, and just sitting on the side of the bed, and just listening, and just saying, I love you and I'm here for you. Those things go a long way, and paying attention to what is going on. But sometimes we just need to be careful with the verbiage that we use.
Mm-hmm. I think it's maybe a validation thing, is that they're feeling what they're feeling, and everyone's sort of coping right now. Everyone's got a lot on their mind. I think we lost Devin again. Poor Devin and her internet.
She looks so cute with her smile.
She does. She always has the cutest faces. I'll let her back in. I've been doing that all. But yeah, it's making sure that they know that that feeling overwhelmed or stressed or anxious right now is understandable. That they're not broken or weird or different for feeling that way. Because in the moment, if you're just trying to make someone feel better and to stop being that way,
yeah,
I think you're going to be able to say to do that.
It's normal to feel that way. I think that's one of the biggest things. It's normal and it's okay.
And it's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I think some of them I've heard, they feel guilty. Like, they feel guilty. They feel guilty for doing certain things because they feel like they see the stress on their parents. And it's like, no, it's okay. Like, guilt is not a good thing either. And feeling sad for your parents, wanting to help them, but not at the expense of sacrificing the good things that you have. And don't feel like you have to stop doing those good things because other things around you, like, keep going. and processes, and tell them, hey, I'm feeling like I should be helping with this, or why do I feel bad about that? And just having that dialogue, because at the same time, the guilt could be almost like a false guilt, because what they feel like there is being projected on them, that if they could just talk it out, it would be like, oh, that's where the understanding lies, in that capacity.
Yeah.
Devin, you're so cute.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Like the internet, but that's real life, and I'm so sorry.
See? We're here.
Yeah.
Hi, what's happening?
So
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I think if we want to go around and say like one big takeaway that we have while working with youth, our youth participants.
Communication.
The
Keep the lines of communication open. It's so critical. It's so important just to keep that conversation going. Like Michelle said, make yourself available as often as you're able to, and be a listening ear.
And I'd like to piggyback on that, because I think, and that could be my takeaway as a piggyback, is that we as parents have expectations, and as mentors we have expectations. We're like, we want results, we want feedback,
Sure.
we want, and sometimes we might get no, nothing, and then all of a sudden there is something. So being consistent with that communication, and not thinking like, oh, well, they said no 3 times, like,
Right.
why? They don't need this. We don't know that. And so just continuing it, because we know that there is a communication breach amongst kids today. And so just keep on keeping on in that capacity.
So that's awesome. So that's communication, consistency. Those were great ones. I would say loving unconditionally, which obviously as parents and in the field that we're in, we already do anyway. But just making sure that they know, that we are loving unconditionally in the way that they'll receive it, and that they know that that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's crucial.
Yeah.
The way I show love, might be different than the way somebody else does. And so we just need to make sure that we're available and we show that unconditional love in the way that they'll receive it.
Yeah, even over time it changes.
That's right.
Love language.
They want
Love language.
some love languages. Yes.
Yeah.
Next month curriculum.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think we got any questions or comments, which just means that we answered everything perfectly and we said everything that needed to be said. That's what I take away from that.
That's right.
But if you have a teen at home or anywhere that you think could use a strong support system in their life, or extra mentoring, or a good ear for listening. I'm not saying this right. I'm messing up the end.
I get what you're saying.
We have,
they want to be encouraged.
Yeah.
That's us.
we would love to have them. So if you think they would be interested, take a look at our website, www.allthingsmadenew.net. There is a sign-up form. We do intakes, and then we do weekly mentoring for any kid who wants it or needs it. And we are not just in Texas anymore. Now that we've gone online, we are nationwide, and it's amazing, and I love it. So this isn't just for all us Texas folks, but of course, Texans are always welcome. Otherwise, you can always sign up to volunteer with us. Check back in near the 15th of every month on our Facebook page for the next Mentoring Matters. Our topic next month is back to school, which will be really interesting because we don't even know what that looks like yet.
We should.
So we'll be learning on the fly. But we will definitely talk about how mentoring can help when going back to school. Some of the things that our youth participants are talking about when it comes to school, how to stay sane, things like that. Yeah, that's all we've got for today. Thank you everyone who is watching, and thank you the amazing staff of All Things Made New. You guys are totally a light into this world, and I'm so glad to know you.
Back at you, girl. We appreciate you.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. That's
Hearts,
right.
hearts.
Until next time, everyone. Bye.
After I wave, the less blue it is.